Monday. Mitchell Snedden and Callum Pickering are here once again. Now, Callum, let's jump straight into it. Last week we had the national accounts and international trade figures come out. Anything here that surprised you or investors should be worried about?
So the result came in a little bit firmer than the market anticipated, coming in at 0.5% growth for the Australian economy in the June quarter, up 3.3% over the year. The economy was mainly driven by the public sector, very strong government spending in the June quarter. Consumption was a little bit weaker than we've come to expect, and net exports disappointed, subtracting from economic growth. With regards to international trade, for July, we did see a narrowing of the trade deficit, which is a good sign. It was driven by exports of gold as opposed to the export of commodities, which has typically been what's driven the trade balance over the past few years.
But with the national accounts, so the market actually reacted negatively, didn't it, to those numbers?
It seemed to, yes. The ASX 200 declined somewhat upon the immediate release of the figures. But that said, the Australian dollar did firm across the week, which may indicate that the market did take some strength from it as well.
Okay, now also coming forward into this week, we've got a number of speeches coming out from the RBA. Anything particular looking for? Is it more not what they're saying, but how they're saying it?
Well, the two big ones are going to be the speeches from Christopher Kent, who's the Assistant Governor of the Economic Group, and Philip Lowe, who's soon to take over as Governor of the Reserve Bank. They'll be very interesting depending on what they touch upon. Now, we don't know exactly the topics that they'll speak about, but usually we're looking for something on monetary policy or housing or the Australian dollar.
And finally, we've got the labour force figures coming out this week. That's employment and unemployment. What are we keeping a keen eye on here? And also that leads into business lending as well. We've got those figures coming out this week.
So the labour force survey is probably our most important monthly indicator of the Australian economy. Market expectations would be for growth of around 10 to 15,000 new jobs in the month of August, and for the unemployment rate to skew a little bit lower from its current levels. Business lending isn't a release that typically gets a lot of market attention, but I think in the current circumstances it's pretty important. Business lending is what's necessary for business investment and the recovery in the non-mining sector. And what we've seen over the past 12 months is actually a pretty steep decline in business lending. And if that continues, then it suggests that the economic transition that the Reserve Bank is trying to orchestrate isn't occurring as quickly as they'd like.
And is it potentially a leading indicator into those down the track into the employment data, less business investment, less people employed eventually?
Absolutely. Business lending leads to business investment, and business investment's what's required for Australian businesses to expand and employ more people.
Excellent. Thank you, Callum, and thank you, members. We'll catch you next Monday.